Center, distinguished representative from IMT member countries, honorable resources, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is, of course, a great honor for me to have the opportunity to deliver the opening remarks on behalf of the Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture of Indonesia. Allow me to begin by expressing my highest appreciation to the IMT Sub-Regional Cooperation Center for each initiative to organize the video conference on managing the impact of COVID-19 on the IMT-GT cooperation on agriculture and agro-based industry. We are all deeply concerned about the COVID-19 pandemic that has affected all economic parts of the world, in particular agriculture and agro-based industry. We have been working as much as possible to overcome its detrimental impact on the sector. The COVID-19 pandemic has hampered agriculture and food production, which lead to the disruption of the food value chain as a whole, and accordingly affected food security of our people at both the national and the global level. At the national level, Indonesia strives to maintain the stability of its agriculture and food production through sets of policies which are measurable, focused, and temporary, with the objective to first ensuring the mitigation of the spread of COVID-19 by placing strict working protocol for both agricultural officers and farmers. And the second, ensuring farmers continue their farming activities through the provision of social safety nets and sets of incentive policies for low-income households and vulnerable groups, including small-scale farmers. Furthermore, in order to ensure sustainable food supply for the 267 million of Indonesian people in the new normal era, Indonesia has been focusing its effort on the following action steps. First, increasing production capacity through both optimizing the existing and expanding the new agricultural land. And the second, promoting local food-based diversification of consumption and promoting sustainable homeyard gardening. And the third, strengthening food reserve and logistic system at the national, provincial, district, and go down even to the community level. And the fourth, development of modern farming through the application of smart farming, greenhouse, and also promoting farmers' corporation. The last, we are also trying to ensure smooth flow of food distribution from producers to the end consumers, including the export market, through, among others, the application of e-commerce platform as a contactless solution. Current response at the national level, of course, will not be sufficient to address the global scale and complexity of the crisis due to the COVID-19. This is a moment that demands our coordinated, decisive, and innovative policy action at the sub-regional level. It is therefore, I would say, that the theme for this video conference today, managing the impact of COVID-19 on the IMT-GT cooperation on agriculture and agro-based industry, is very much timely. Indonesia would like to encourage the IMT Forum to strengthen our sub-regional solidarity in safeguarding our regional food supply, ensuring adequate food availability for those in need with sufficient quality and safety, and in a timely manner. Finally, I would like to encourage all distinguished participants to take part actively during this session, share knowledge, expertise, and experiences to identify potential collaboration on agriculture and agro-based industry, and generate a concrete joint plan of action to address the impact of COVID-19 on our regional agriculture and food supply. To conclude, as an initial input for our discussion today, please allow me to put forward several potential areas for our sub-regional collaboration. First, joint facilitation for cross-border trading of prime complementarity agricultural commodities. Second, joint investment in our bordering areas on infrastructure, including logistics, to promote comparative and competitive advantages of agricultural commodities. And the third, establish shared marketing network to potential markets such as EU and US through e-commerce platform. This is all I would say for the opening. And by this, I'm happy to declare the IMT-GT video conference on managing the impact of COVID-19 on the IMT-GT sectoral cooperation officially open. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Pak Ade, for your important remarks, important also point that you raised during in your remarks just now, and also some of the potential project that you mentioned in your remark is also very, very important for us, and for very important for the collaboration in post-COVID-19. So we will do our best here to pursue this, what you proposed in your remarks, Dr. Ade. So thank you again, Pak Ade, for your remarks. And now, before we come to proceed to the next agenda item, I would like to invite all of our speakers and participants through the photo session, through the virtual. So by showing our logo of IMT-GT like this, this is the symbol of our logo. The triangle will symbolize the three countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. So I will count it until 3. Now, 1, 2, 3, and then we will do it again. 1, 2, 3. So thank you so much for the photo session. And now allow me as well to let my team here to announce some housekeeping we will hear together. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the IMT-GT video conference series, Managing the Impact of COVID-19. Before we proceed with our session, allow me to make some housekeeping announcements. For the speaker, we will ring the bell once. For the first 12 minutes of your presentation. And we will ring the bell 3 times. I would like to kindly request from the participant to kindly switch off the microphone throughout the session. Should you have any question and comment, kindly type in the chat box, state your name and destination, and we will respond accordingly.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Ade. Thank you so much for small announcements from the team, and now allow me a little bit to brief about our discussion today. So the agenda 3 until agenda 6. So the discussion will be chaired by the chair of the working group of agriculture and agrobased industry, Dr. Ade Chandra Dijaya. So and then during this discussion, we will have also the Q&A later on. So we will allocate the agenda 6. So under agenda 6, so we will give an opportunity to participants for a Q&A. So Pak Ade later on will utilize this one to accommodate perhaps recommendation, suggestion from all participants. And I would like to inform you as well, the closing of this conference will be done by Honorable Datuk Saiful Anwar bin Labe Hussein, Director General of Economic Planning Unit, Malaysia. This event will be under the agenda 7. So hopefully we will be on time. It will be done around at 12:10 today. So thank you so much. And also for Honorable Datuk Saiful Anwar for your time to close this session. So for the information for our participants, so this is the last session that the CIMT conducted the video conference, the mitigation, managing the impact of COVID-19 on IMT-GT sectoral cooperation. So we have done before 5 series, and that is the last series, the 6th series. So without further ado, I would like to hand over the microphone to Pak Andre Chandra Dijaya. You have the floor, Pak Andre. Thank you.
Thank you again, Pak Firdaus. Good morning, colleague and distinguished participant. Thank you for giving me the opportunities to chair this session. And then there will be 3 panels during this session. We'll start with the first panel, which will be discussing or sharing experiences from related ministries. And then we'll have 3 speakers in this topic. So we'll have representative from Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand, who will share all the thing that has been done within each countries in addressing the impact of COVID-19. And then afterward, we will address the second topic, mitigation the impact of COVID-19 on agriculture and agro-based industry, cooperation in IMT-GT, where we will have 2 speakers. One is Mr. Supadet Ong Sakul, and the second is Mr. Robin Lim. And then for the third topic, we will be discussing the way to turn COVID-19 crisis into opportunities. And then before we close, we will have a 20 minutes discussion on the potential collaboration on agriculture and agro-based industry post-COVID-19. Since the time is very strict, so I would like to remind all the speakers to stick to the allocated time, which is 15 minutes for each. And then without any further ado, please allow me to invite the first speaker from Indonesia, Professor Tahlim Sudaryanto, to share some information with regard to the policies and measures that have been done by Indonesia to address the impact of COVID-19. Pak Prof. Tahlim, the floor is yours. Please, Pak.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ade Chandra, the chair of these sessions. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everybody. Could you share the screen? Yeah. Actually, I think there are a lot of things has been delivered from the speech of the Secretary General on the update on the COVID-19 impact and the policy measures in Indonesia, but I just would like to highlight some of the points because of the limited time. First, I think, next please. Yes, no, back one side, first introductions. Yeah, I think the COVID-19 cases has reached more than 100,000 in Indonesia in the last 2 days, and we still recorded death cases 4.8%, and the trend seems to be still increasing. So we are not sure to when the pandemic will be ended, because I think previous predictions has been, is not in place. So I think, as we all know, that government has put in place some of the policy, and some of the policy has some, further related impacts to the economy that's concerns most of us, including of this forum. So there is economy-wide impact of these COVID-19, particularly the tourism, transportations, but also including agriculture and agro-based industries. So the central government has delivered some of the policy measures, starting from macroeconomics and monetary policies, and also which to some extent also has some impact to agriculture. But there are some also specific sectoral policies related to agriculture. Next. Yeah, just to emphasize, back some of the impact on the macroeconomic impact that concern to most people. GDP growth, according to prediction into 2020, will decline to the lowest minus 0.4, and the most optimistic one still can go to 2.3. But we a little bit late to see the figure that in 2001 somehow it will recover. Hopefully that's true, 4.5 to 5.5%. And now, what's the figures in agriculture? So total, based on data prediction for 2020 compared to 19 year on year, total GDP in agriculture declined to 1.8. But if we count, if we exclude forestry and fishery, which is the domains of the Ministry of Agriculture in Indonesia, the decline of GDP is much larger, 3.35. And particularly the decrease on the food sector, that some implications to food security is quite large, minus 4.6. Including also livestock, because there is some problem in input supply, particularly the breed. ST crops still showing a positive growth, it is very low, thanks to the forestry sector that are still showing highest growth. Next. Okay. I would like to speak more specifically what's the impact to agriculture. First of all, of course, to the farmer, that our most attentions. Also, there is some policy dilemma. In one hand, we always emphasize that farmers and related actors are requested to continue working in the fields to produce more food for the society and also other products. But at the same time, they face some health risk, of course, of being impacted by the virus. So far, there is no reliable data reporting to what extent farmers impacted by the virus. Very, very limited. But what has been reported in the media, for example, I think tend to be lower than actually it is. So the anecdotal evidence that so many people saying is farmers are having low risk because they work mostly in the field with open air and also hot temperature, but they also have to interact with some other actors in suppliers and product trader. And at the same time, some are also citizen, part of the citizen who has to perform any social activities that bear some risk of infection. Next, the most important impact is to food security. So again, I think the official data of our ministry showing the food production and the availability at least up to the end of the year remain strong, but it's a little bit contradict with the prediction of GDP growth in the food crop sector that is showing largely negative. So there is some strong reasons to worry about this. And the effect is more indirect to constrain on the upstream segments, supply of input, particularly seed and also seasonal labor, also on the downward segment of the supply chains, distribution, trading, and processing. So these constraints of the segments will lead to indirect impact to food production, particularly in the subsequent production cycle or session. Next. And the third concern is impact to consumers. So there is some indication of reduction of food buying due to decrease in purchasing power, particularly for the lower segments of the population, and also the limited access. And also there is a reduced quality of food product, of course, the freshness due to distribution constraint. And on the other hand, there is some increased consumption of some agricultural commodities which contribute to better health status, more nutritious food, and also more for the immunity of our body. Some herbal food product, for example, and also vegetable, fruit, and it's the opportunity actually for our farmers to increase on this type of product. There is some changes also on the transactions process from a physical market in the past to more commercial one. And I think that's very important and very interesting. Next. Yeah, on the policy framework, on the macroeconomics, there are some first is the social safety net to increase purchasing power by issuing more card to the household for buying staple food, pre-employment card. There is some interest subsidy for housing, increase government expenditure to finance cash for work. So some people have some more cash to spend. And there is some exemption of income taxes for workers in the processing industry, and also some industry focusing on export, import, and re-import activities. Value-added tax refunds to increase business liquidity, and there is some measure also non-fiscal export restrictions, also simplifying import. Next. Yeah, related to agriculture, also mentioned by the Secretary General speech, first disseminate information on the health protocol to prevent COVID-19 for farmers, particularly, but also other actors. The second one, promote food reserve in all provinces, so there is reliable access for populations to access to food. Third one, provide grants for essential input for some farmers, such as seeds, and particularly in the impacted zones. Next, and also in line with the central government policy, promote the work forecast program, also in agriculture, accelerates food production in major producing regions is one of the main measure, including the most recent one is implement food estate program in swampy land of central Kalimantan. And lastly, promote diversification to local food production. So we will rely on some locally predisposed. Next, I think this is my last slide. There is some prediction that the COVID-19 will last until 2024. So I think there is some need to have more comprehensive strategy. Basically, there are 4 strategies based on the stages of the pandemic. First, on the area which pre-pandemic is not impacted yet, needs some increased information and early warning system, and also some early response if there is a case emerge. And the second one, after the pandemic observed, we need to first rescue and adaptation scheme, and also recovery and reconstruction. And what's we have to done during this the so-called new normal currently? It has to include all of these strategies: rescue and adaptations in the newly impacted zone, recovery and reconstructions in green zones, already recover, and early response for the new outbreak zones, and information and early warning system to anticipate of a new outbreak. I think that's all, Mr. Chair, that I can share to all of you on this matter. Thank you very much.
For the concise but comprehensive presentation. And now allow me to invite the second speaker, Mr. Muhammad Faisal Harun, Under Secretary, International Division, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industries, Malaysia, to share Malaysia's experience in addressing the impact of COVID-19. Your time is 15 minutes, and the floor is yours. Please, Pak Muhammad Faisal Harun.
Thank you, Chair of WGAA. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Tunku Nazira, and I will be representing Malaysia on behalf of Mr. Faisal, as he couldn't make it to this meeting due to other work commitments. Malaysia would also like to thank colleagues Thailand and Indonesia on its briefing of the current situations and experiences on COVID-19. Malaysia believed that these efforts could only be successful through solidarity and collaboration in this dynamic and challenging time of COVID-19. Chair, allow me to share on Malaysia's experience on COVID-19. Malaysia is lucky because COVID-19 has not affected much food supply and food security in the country. During the first week of MCO control order imposed by Malaysia's government starting on 18 March 2020, there were some uncertainties and confusions which affected the movement of agri-food products in the country. The government was quick to react by exempting activities related to agriculture, food production, and agri-food logistics to ensure food security in the country. Proper information was communicated through various channels to tell the public that we have enough food, while at the same time steps were taken to reduce panic buying. Because of the MCO, we were changes in the demand patterns of food domestically, which require a lot of intervention by various government agencies to address the demand and redistribute food surplus in some areas. The operation of traditional marketing channels such as wholesale market, farmers market, and wet market has been limited, while demands from hotel, event caterers, and restaurants have drastically dropped during MCO, which negatively affect the income of farmers. In some areas, there are excess of agri-products such as vegetables and fruits due to local demand versus high local production. Agencies such as Federal Agriculture Marketing Authority and Farmers Organisation Authority, and also other farmers associations, have been tasked to address these logistical issues and to facilitate the smooth distribution to agriculture products. International trade channel was kept open because Malaysia still depends on food import, particularly rice, meat and milk, and also animal feed. Assistance packages were introduced to help agri and food producers that were affected by the MCO and the pandemic. However, now after 3 months of MCO, a lot of industries have been allowed to resume operation with the new norm, and Malaysia is on a good path of recovery. Chair, there are also several initiatives have been taken by Malaysia during COVID-19. Throughout the Movement Control Order period, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industry, MAFI, has established its control fresh market outlets. These initiatives were made possible through Farmers Association Organization, which provide 34 premises and outlets in distributing agricultural products. This includes Federal Agricultural Marketing Authority with 63 premises and outlets. Both LPP and Pharma are sisters agencies under MAFI, which plays a pertinent role in connecting the local farmers and the public market through efficient agricultural chain supplies. A special committee at ministerial level has also been recently established, comprises of MAFI, MITI, and KPDN HEP, which is Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, to oversight all activities along the food supply chain. The committee will meet and discuss, identify and mitigate issues and provide recommendations to the government in relation to food supplies. MAFI also conduct its public awareness and outreach to the concerned agricultural stakeholders, which include initializing the awareness to not panic buying, provides advisories on essential agriculture services, operation on agricultural activities, and assuring the continuous supply of the food in the market through social and mainstream media. Secondly, deploying enforcement personnel from MAFI agencies to stock take and observe the conduct of the market pertaining to agricultural products throughout the value chain. Selective MAFI personnel will continue to undertake activities that include inspections on food and crops, food safety for human and animal consumptions, as well as ensuring the availability and continuous supply of the essential food staples such as rice. Also, outreach and meetings to the public, specifically to the local supermarket operators, importers, logistic providers, agricultural practitioners, distribution centers, and state excos for agriculture in relaying the right message and seeking support to ensure that trade lines remain open to facilitate the flow of agricultural and food products to support the viability and integrity of supply chains. Such exercise above was made to ensure that our national food security will not be compromised, and MAFI will continue to monitor and take stock of the essential food items in the market to ensure that they are available, accessible, and affordable to all people. That's all from Malaysia. Thank you.
And let's proceed to the third speaker. We have Mrs. Benjawan Siribodi, expert of International Economic Policy, Office of Agricultural Economic, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative of Thailand. Mrs. Benjawan, the floor is yours, and the time is 15 minutes, please.
Yang dianya masih di-unmute. Masih di-unmute dia. Sekali lagi, Pak. Oh. Dianya belum di suaranya. Tapi unmute.
We don't hear.
We can't hear you, Thailand. Maybe you can check with your microphone.
We cannot hear. ไม่ได้ยินครับไม่ได้ยิน
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. No, it's okay.
Okay. Yes. For this spread, due to the COVID-19 in Thailand, on commercial international flights were suspended, and lockdown measures were implemented in very decreased throughout the country. The pandemic has heavily disrupted the country economy, of which tourism is a significant sector. From this chart, you will see this situation affected to the real sector, especially agricultural sector, such as vegetable and fruit farming, fishery, paddy, livestock, that impact value approximate 219,000 million baht, including agri-based industry such as beverage, slaughter, rice milling, that value approximate 201,000 million baht. On top of this, the Office of Agricultural Economic has predicted the number of the layoff workers from COVID-19 outbreak and country lockdown, found that about 398,000 workers were laid off. So, agricultural product sector that get the most affected from layoff workers are vegetable farm, 4,700 million baht, and paddy, 3,100 million baht, and fruit farm, 3,500 million baht. And the other sector in agricultural, fishery, livestock, the rest approximate 8,900 million baht. Next slide. Thailand has announced the emergency decree authorizing the Ministry of Finance to raise loans to solve problems, to remedy and restore the economy and society as affected by the coronavirus disease pandemic in this year 2020. The emergency decree consists of three parts, which are: first, solving the problem of the COVID-19, second, assisting, remedy, and compensation, and the third, restoration the economy and society. And also, I focus the restoration the economy and society aspect with Office of the National Economic and Social Development Council, or NESDC, has created the National Restoration the Economy and Society Plan, and Ministry of Agriculture work under in this plan. The project under the above mentioned framework composed of 4 tasks, which are enhancing production efficiency, restoring local economies and community, promotion and increasing household private sector expenditure, and infrastructure development, building economy stability, so that Ministry of Agriculture prepare project proposal for agriculture and social rehabilitation from the impact of COVID-19. The relevant agency will propose project in ESDC committee for considering. After that, the final adjust project will be proposed to the cabinet for endorsement. For this slide, to show the economic and social rehabilitation project in agricultural sector are in line with task 1, task 2, and task 4 of the National Restoration the Economy and Society Plan, as to be shown on the slide. This will use the sufficiency economy philosophy principle, focusing on creating jobs and generate income for community. Moreover, playing the importance of the development of an area-based approach with the integration of the work within Ministry of Agriculture. And the right side, the economic and social rehabilitation project in agricultural sector consists the area-based and function-based approach. Firstly, area-based approach has the objective for farmer to analyze need within community to get the project that truly meet the potential and need of farmer to developing productivity by using technology and innovation, enhancing food safety and standard, and increasing value added to agricultural products in order to increase productivity and income as well as food security in community. There are 3 projects under this concept, with developing the capacity of learning center and enhancing mega farm by model agriculture and market, linked the develop the potential for strength in mega farm management by using model technological innovation, and strengthening the community rice center to develop the rice production potential by allowing farmers to access to good seed with resource in reduce costing and increase income for farmer. Secondly, for the concept function-based approach with will be supports implementation of the area-based approach project as 5 projects with first develop infrastructure, water storage and irrigation system, and second producing good breed and seed to increase the production potential and sufficient production factor. And the third, standardized examination and certification to provide agricultural products with standard quality, and cooperative farmer groups potential development in every step from producing, processing, packaging, distribution, and marketing along food value chain. And final, develop agricultural database or big data. Beside the next slide, beside the project under the National Economic and Social Rehabilitation Plan, Ministry of Agriculture corporate activity under the Agriculture Development Plan emphasize on development direction with first, one-stop service and soil and fertilizer for community. The objective of this activity aim to enhance productivity and reduce cost of production by applying technology and analyze soil fertilizer that's suitable for the area. And the second, one Tambon, one farmer group aim to promote the sufficient economy philosophy principle and development the new theory agriculture learning center in all sub-district in Thailand. And the third, rate of worker in farmer system. This focus on helping layoff worker learning to become a smart farmer by using the efficiency economy philosophy principle. And the fourth, enhancing the competitiveness in agricultural sector by using architect and innovation center to reduce cost and go forward into the model agriculture. And the five, developing the traceability system for Thai food to reassure customer in Thai agricultural product. And the sixth, promotion and supporting the development of online market for agricultural products such as Lazada, Shopee, and improve logistics system. And seven, developing agricultural big data for analyzing and policy planning in agricultural sector. On this that I mentioned, this development direction of Ministry of Agriculture will be steering agricultural sector under the shrinking situation in Thailand. Those are the measures and plan for post-COVID response in Thailand. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Benjawan. I think we conclude the first topic on sharing experience in addressing the impact of COVID-19. And then we have already heard how significant COVID-19 pandemic affected each countries in Malaysia, Thailand, and in Indonesia. Also, we have already heard what the policies and measures has been developed by each specific countries. And then we have already see, I think, some similarities in this strategy. And then also the way to customize this specific strategy for each specific condition in each countries. I think now we can proceed to the next topic, mitigation the impact of COVID-19 on agriculture and agro-based industry cooperation in IMT-GT, where we have two speakers for this topic. And then I would like to invite the first speaker, Mr. Supadet Ong Sapul, Deputy Secretary General of Thai Rubber Association. The floor is yours. Please, Mr. Supadet.
Good morning, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I will start on the rubber industry and agriculture. We know that now we are under the recession. The recession is rise from COVID and the high debt of the world. I think the world have reached the highest level of debt. So this year, most of the country face a contract of economic growth. According to Bank of Thailand, this year, we will have the contraction of GDP 8%. Is lower than what we previously forecast, -6 to -8. We foresee next year, we will recover the economy from +4 to +5%, especially in fourth quarter of next year. Bank of Thailand foresee that the economy will come to normal again. So firstly, during this bad economic or recession, our three countries are helping its own people or economy by fiscal policy, by Ministry of Finance, by supporting the unemployed people, and monetary policy by each central bank to help the liquidity of small and medium size of economy. We know that tourist industry is the most hard hit by this recession because there is lockdown on the border of our three countries. By lockdown, it means our three countries or other tourists cannot move in. You also have been aware that Thailand is most reliable on tourists for the economic growth. So we can see among three countries, Thailand are the most hard hit by this recession. If we come back to see the food and agriculture base during the recession, normally in the recession, food and agriculture is a basic to helping the poor people during the recession because we all rely on food and agriculture. Although the price is not good and cannot recover soon during the recession, but with the less income of farmer and who are working in the agriculture field, anyway, at least they still have income for survival. So they have the basic income. This is better than the unemployment who need the support from the government. So during this year, we can see lowest price of rubber, palm oil, fishery, rice, fruit, pepper, and herbs. All we face the low price, and the volume, the quantity of the agriculture product also contract. In rubber, the production of rubber for the world and the demand is contract around 10%. Rubber consumption and production normally is about 14.5 million tons per year, but this year is contract 10%, so it's around 13 million tons per this year. But anyway, when demand is contract, our supply also reduce due to the price is on the low side. But in the future, we are not rely to increase the production. We will foresee on increasing on price and income It means that in future, even the production, our production do not increase, but the increment will be more on the price, which is, we expect the price of commodity will recover first. Maybe by fourth quarter of this year, we will be slightly recover to the contraction of the production. We are in the low inflation of a finished product, but in terms of the commodity, food and rubber, it will recover earlier, but in the finished product, maybe can recover after next year. Although we compare to other countries or the world, our economy are on the recession, but the same situation also happened in the developed country like Europe, US, and China, and Japan. The whole world are facing the same problem, but we hope that agricultural product will be the basic support the fundamental livelihood of our people. As you may know, when now the next growth of the world economy, people say is on AEC, our own, will be having the fast growth economy in the world. We see the high growth economy in the world, especially in Indonesia, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. So this is a high growth economy of the world. So by connectivity of Thailand to this border country, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia, I think the Thailand and Malaysia also will recover soon. Especially the trade tension between China and US still going on. We can know that it's not easy to end up this trade tension. It means the trade between China and US and China with the world will be having a difficulty. So the world have to move the trade volume into our country like AEC, especially Indonesia and Vietnam. However, during the recession and the COVID crisis, we are having the very good in glove industry. You know, Thailand and Malaysia are world production of glove, which is in the good demand. In Malaysia, control 65% of the world glove production. Thailand have 15% of the world production of glove. We both countries have 80% of the glove industry. The glove industry now is the highest growth for the industry in the world. And in glove industry, we divide into the nitrile glove and the latex glove. The latex glove are using the natural rubber latex from the rubber tree, which is around 20% of the glove production. But we have to import the nitrile latex, which we have to import the nitrile latex from Taiwan, South Korea, and China. So we are seeing the investment of the nitrile latex in our region, but the investment have to become from big conglomerate of our own domestic company. Like in Thailand, we have PTT, Global Chemical. In Malaysia, you have Petronas. In Indonesia, you have PT Pertamina. All these petrochemical industry will look for the investment in the nitrile, the latex in future. So we are seeing that the glove industry will help to pull our economy around these three regions to recover faster than other area. Within our own three countries, COVID-19, I think our three countries have been doing well to control our people from self-distancing, and the number of the infected are incontrollable. So we can see that among domestic consumption will be recovered, but only that we find a good time that we can open borders soon, especially Thailand and Malaysia, Thailand and Indonesia, Malaysia and Indonesia, with Singapore as well. If we can open the border as soon as possible, I think it can help the tourist industry in our region. So anyway, I still see that there is an opportunity during this bad time for the glove industry. Also, what I see that we will face the strong currency in our three countries because of weak currency. Not our currency strong. There's a weak currency in the US and Europe due to the quantitative easing of printing more money to help the world economy. So we will have better the currency stability in the future. Okay, for me, I only have this view on that. Thank you. Anyway, whatever happened, either good or bad, one day it will disappear, and we will come back to live as normal life again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Supadet, for the highlight on how COVID-19 affecting rubber industry from both the supply and then demand side, and then how the situation also affect the price as well as the income of the farm household, and also has been highlighted the opportunities for the investment to handle this situation. We could discuss further later on during the discussion session. And now let me invite the second speaker for this topic, Mr. Robin Lim, Managing Director, FIG Direct SDN, who will share his experience on the current condition as well as opportunities on agriculture and agro-based industry post-COVID-19. Mr. Robin, the floor is yours and your time is 15 minutes. Please.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. Good morning. First of all, my name is Robin Lim. I'm the grower of Superfruit Valley in Malaysia. So today the topic we are talking about the mitigation of impact through COVID-19. This is what I can share over here on the trend of consumer consume on nutritional security. Superfruit Valley actually has been set up 4 years ago under IMT-GT Uni Network Superfruit Valley Superfruit project. So with this COVID-19, we initially in Malaysia on the first month of MCO, we can see a big trend of changes in consumer where there is a highly increase on nutritional awareness, which are among the consumer in Malaysia. So as we are the only superfood grower in Malaysia, so you can see the demand is very high, where the consumer are very nutritional conscious actually. You know, where they're hunting for all those fruits which are highly nutritional. It's not that it's a prevention for them. It's actually an immunity boost for them, so that their body have more nutritional. Where even though if they are what we say is that even they are infected with COVID, the recovery will be very fast. This is what we have the feedback from the consumer itself. So the trend started to change in the first month. Then continuously we are in a COVID-19 for 3 months. You can see the trend. People are visiting the farm, getting to know their food, the traceability of their food. You know, we have visitors from all over the country, you know, visiting our farm, and we have also farmers visiting our farm, which are looking at opportunity to grow fruits which are highly nutritional for the country itself. You know, and you can see during the MCO started the COVID-19 importations getting lower because of the logistic, and the price are getting higher for all the fruits which are imported. So what we do is that we fortunately from the Ministry of Agriculture, we have been supported of our movement, which we can continually operate under essential sector. We managed to change our logistic channel from going on conventional into courier system, where we send our fruits out to nationwide through couriers services, and also in the same time channeling our products through of course online, like Shopee, Lazada, Q10.com, you know. So those are the trending has changed, and people start to buy online, you know, and even now after 3 months, we receive mostly a lot of people to the farm, you know, getting to know what is gag fruits, you know, which are highly lycopene content, you know. So those are the trend actually. It's been changing in Malaysia. So what we can see is that the opportunity of it on nutritional security for the regional, which basically why Superfood Valley project is been started. It's actually growing very fast. You know, we have farmers all over. We have farmers all over from the states, even ranging from Johor, Kelantan, Malacca. There have been inquiries of setting up new farms on fig farm, lemons, and gag. So the trend in Malaysia basically has changed. People are looking for food which are very highly nutritional to take care of their health. Okay, so you can see, yes, they have to eat, but they are worrying about their health for their family, for their relatives, and for themselves. So when the impact of this COVID-19 is that you can see people are very health conscious. You know, they are looking for food which are good for their health and everything. So this is the point where we as a private sector, the experience, and we can see the mitigation of the trend on consumer which are health conscious. I think that's about all. Any question and answer? Maybe we can this one. Thank you, Chair.
For sharing information and experience in promoting Superfood project, and then also highlighting some changes in the consumer behavior of the Malaysian people, which has more concern on the highly nutritional fruit, and then those fruit which has also specific nutrient content to boost the immunity of the people. Similarly, Indonesia also has been growing research on extracting some particle from the agricultural commodities, which can also restrict the COVID-19 COVID-19 infection. So one of which is eucalyptus, and then the research right now is still growing in Indonesia. Okay, we conclude the second panel, and then we can proceed to the last topic, turning COVID-19 crisis into opportunities. And then we have two speakers for this topic. And then I would like to invite the first speaker, Mr. Sakti Utamara from Rio University. The floor is yours, Pak Sakti, and then the time is 15 minutes. Please, Pak.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to present my topics. My presentation will incorporate condition of agriculture sector prior to COVID-19, during the pandemic, and situation post-COVID-19. This presentation will encompass business practices, challenges, government policies, and opportunities. In the past 5 years before the COVID-19 pandemic, the economy of Indonesia grew with a stable and good performance. Economic growth on average 5%, inflation around 3%, employment account of more than 90% of the total economically active. The government of Indonesia has put in place various policies to stimulate economic growth and enhance economic performance. Reformation in regulation and bureaucracy have been carried out to provide the best condition for new investment and export. Besides, Indonesia also develops infrastructure such as road, seaport, communication, and transport facilities. The GDP of Indonesia achieved more than 1,000 trillion in 2018, and agriculture sector contribute 12.7% of the GDP. Agriculture provide not only various food and raw materials product to industry manufacture, but also account for 28.8% of total employment, stimulate economic activities in agriculture in rural area, and lessen urbanization. The Ministry of Agriculture with other stakeholders develop production networks to ensure food security and food staple to people. The majority of agricultural products are produced domestically, such as rice, poultry, eggs, and vegetables. However, some other foodstuffs, such as beef and garlic, have to be imported from a number of countries. Besides primary products, there are also various agro-based industries such as palm oil, rubber, coffee, and manufactured goods. The first confirmed COVID-19 has been detected in Indonesia on 1st March 2020. Government of Indonesia has carried out measures and set up regulations to manage and control the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. However, in the last 4 months, it looks that the spread of COVID-19 tends to increase. It was reported 100,303 cases on 27 July 2020, 2 days ago, the highest among Southeast countries. Since the antivirus has not been found yet, people have to avoid the spread of COVID-19 manually. The COVID-19 spread through droplet, and recently it is informed that it can spread through airborne. Therefore, to slow down the spread of the coronavirus, physical distancing must be implemented besides using mask and wash hand. Many countries applied lockdown policy to avoid the spread of COVID-19, while Indonesia applied large-scale social restriction. Activities have been slowed down and some have to be totally stopped. People have to stay home, students have to do distance learning, and workers have to work home. This condition lowers economic activities, including in agriculture and agro-based industry. Large-scale social restriction affects agriculture and agro-based industry supply chain, both in supply and demand side. At supply side, lockdown has restricted activity to deliver input supply, while import delay or stop because of restriction in port of export countries. Lack access to input interrupt activity in farm business. Drops in production of many products influence delivery of raw material to processors and manufacturers. Meanwhile, distribution and delivery of agro-based industry products are also affected by restriction in transport and shipping. During social restriction, traditional market, supermarket, restaurant, and other retailers have to close except food store and pharmacy. At demand side, workers have to work home. This condition disrupts most of business activities. Large number of people lost their job. Workers, particularly informal sector and small-scale business, lower or lose their income. Purchasing power weakens, and this condition increase number of poverty. COVID-19 has hurt producers and consumers and decelerated economic of the country. This picture shows network and flow of agriculture and agro-based industry products from raw materials to end users. In general, most of institutions and actors along the supply chain have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. When restriction policy affects one or more players in the supply chain, it will affect the whole flow of products. Despite the fact that agriculture and agro-based industry supply chain have been attacked by COVID-19, the government has to maintain the provision of main food staple. In the first 3 months of COVID-19, some foodstuffs were still available domestically. However, some imported products such as beef, buffalo, and garlic were shortage. Large-scale social restrictions has slowed down economic activities. Consequently, many people have to work from home, and large number of households lost their income and purchasing power. Increased poverty caused people, particularly low-income group and poor people, cannot afford to meet their daily needs. When the government put on restriction policy, social protection program has to be put in place to minimize the impact of COVID-19. From the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, Government of Indonesia has released various policies and regulations, including public health, expanding social protection, tax incentive, etc. Social protection program has been established to support low-income and poor households to meet their daily needs. This program includes conditional cash transfer program, staple food program, pre-employment card, electricity bill discount, and other provincial social protection program. In the impact of COVID to farmers. During COVID-19, farmers are still work on farms. Since working condition of on-farm activities applies minimal contact, working on farm is less affected by COVID-19. However, farmers and their families are still risk to be infected in other social life and activities. Restriction cause less access to agricultural inputs, and farmer also has low access to information, finance, and market. For small and medium agribusiness during COVID-19 pandemic have to close their business. Some of them can continue their activities at home or small buildings. However, people still risk to be infected in other social life and activities. Less access to inputs, less access to market. This condition reduces their sale, drops their revenue, and cause financial problems. Large-scale agribusiness or agro-based industry reduce production either because of restriction policy or lower demand of their products. During COVID-19, companies have to rationalize the use of labor to lower the cost of production. Large-scale enterprises have less access to raw material, both domestic and import. Sale and revenue drop and cause financial problems. However, there are some agribusiness, agro-based industry that's less affected by COVID-19 in Indonesia, such as palm oil industry. It can be seen that the COVID-19 has attacked agriculture and agro-based industry supply chain and affect business institutions and actors along the supply chain. Can we recover the supply chain condition as before the COVID-19? How do actors in the supply chain manage their business practices to meet the new condition, new normal, and make their business sustainable? Since vaccine for COVID-19 has not been found yet, we have to apply health protocol of COVID-19 in all activities in the supply chain. Physical distances, use masker, and wash hand. This condition may sustain in the next 2 years. For farmers or smallholders, in the new normal, farmers have to follow protocol COVID-19 in on-farm activities. Farm businesses need to improve access to input. Financial support are required to recover the loss during COVID-19 pandemic. Smallholders are recommended to have organizations to improve their business scale and bargaining power in the supply chains, for example, with cooperative, association, or farmer groups. There are some alternative markets, including local, traditional, supermarket, manufacturer, and online market. For small and medium agribusiness, complying with protocol COVID-19 is compulsory. Business required to recover access to inputs, increase sale in local, traditional, and especially in online market. Business need to improve access to financial institution. Tax incentive is still required to support business recovery, and also revitalization business cooperative. For large-scale agribusiness and agro-based industry, application of protocol COVID-19 is obligatory in all aspects of production. Rationalization of production due to constraint in raw material and drops in demand. Optimal use of labor to meet production target and lower cost of production. Gradually improve access to raw materials, domestic or import. Gradually expand local, domestic, and export markets. Financial management should be revitalized or restructured to meet the new normal. Tax incentive to stimulate company performance. What should be done for agriculture supply chains in the new normal? First, relaxation of and flexibility in agriculture supply chains. Then institutional arrangement should be revitalized, improve access to raw materials, improve access to market, especially online marketplace, financial management arrangement, tax incentive, and regulation and bureaucracy. For food security, countries have to take into account the provision of staffs, for example, by revitalization and expansion policies. Distribution and delivery should be improved to ensure food supply for every people, everywhere, and whoever. Government intervention are still required in the provision of main staple to ensure the low-income, poor people, and people in marginal area have adequate access to food. It is also recommended to promote diversification on staple food. For food safety, reduce contact in processing and delivery to meet health protocol, then improve quality in food processing, handling, packaging, and marketing. We still need regulations and government policy as during COVID-19. I conclude this presentation as follows. Indonesia has to revitalize agriculture and agro-based industry supply chains that has been attacked by COVID-19 pandemic. Business have to compromise with the new normal condition, working conditions and production process must follow the COVID-19 protocol. Vaccine for COVID-19 has not been found yet. Therefore, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, physical distances must be applied. Consequently, in the new normal, production activities drop around 50%. New methods and strategies of production should be revitalized to improve production given the COVID-19 protocol. The new rule of games and institutional arrangement must be created to meet the protocol COVID-19. Government should set up regulation and design bureaucracy that make the flow of products in agriculture and agro-based industry optimal. There are still consumers and buyers in domestic and international markets. In the future, purchasing power of customer is getting better, and demand for agriculture and agro-based industry product will be recovered. However, producers have to create strategies and methods to multiply production to meet demand for food. Cooperation in agriculture and agro-based industry among Asian countries, particularly IMT-GT, should be improved to enhance activities in the supply chain and to achieve better economic performance and people welfare. That's all my presentation. Thank you very much. I return back the floor to the chair.
Thank you very much, Pak Sakti, for the highlight on the impact of the overall policies of the government of Indonesia in restricting or controlling the spread of COVID-19 on the overall economic of agriculture and agro-based industries, as well as highlighting policy intervention to tackle the impact, and then also leading to some recommendations such as revitalization of agriculture and agro-based industries, including the whole value chain, both at the national and the global value chain. We can get back to discussion on this point later on during the discussion session, and then I would like to invite the last speaker for this topic, Dr. Namnun Chaturapitawong. Hope I could spell it right, pronounce right. And then he will share his views on business challenges and opportunities related to food security issues post-COVID-19. Dr. Damnun, the floor is yours, and your time is 15 minutes. Please.
Good morning, everybody. I'm honored and very surprised to be invited to present at this time. My topic today will be the mitigations, the impacts of COVID-19 for agriculture and agro-based industry, and sharing the challenge and opportunity related to food security issue post-COVID-19. First of all, I would like to talk a little bit about the Food Public Company Limited, or CPF business. CPF had developed agro-industrial and food conglomerate, including livestock and agriculture, swine, broilers, layers, duck, shrimp, and fish. The business are categorized into three categories, namely feed, farm processing, and food business. In addition, we operate food retail outlets. CPF operates in 17 countries, export to more than 30 countries across 5 continents, which employ 75,000 in Thai and 50,000 overseas. For last year performance, CPF share revenue of 532 million baht, and net profit was 18 million baht. For Thailand's COVID impacts, the Thailand Development Research Institute estimates that Thai economy could contract by 10% this year and will not reach pre-COVID levels until 2023, as exports, tourism, and domestic consumption will only start to pick up once the COVID pandemic ends. Post-COVID, exports will be affected by lower global purchasing power and higher trade barrier. Tourism will recover to pre-COVID levels only in 2023, when the pandemic is behind and international movements of people fully resume. Business that are affected most during COVID-19, as seen here, impact positive, negative, high negative impact such as hotels, airlines, pub and bar, and positive impact including e-commerce, delivery service, medical supply, foods and insurance. Some of the 9.7 million people are severely affected by the lockdown from COVID-19 outbreak, with the last group being retailers, followed by cooks, waiters, hairdressers, and tour guides and taxi, van, and motorcycle drivers. Before going to conclusion, the impacts of COVID-19 to CPF, I would like to present how CPF prepared to deal with COVID-19, the deadly contagious disease of human beings nowadays. And my big boss, Mr. Tanin Jarawan, always said that in every crisis, it is our opportunity. So our CEO will appoint the working committee to fight COVID-19 both in Thailand and overseas operation. His first goal is to prevent our employees from being infected with COVID-19 and make them feel free, feel safe and happy to go to work. The second goal is to keep the business continuous going. These are 5 main category strategies that CPF focus, including public health and prevention measures, communication, employee care, and procurement and coordinate with government sector. Target for the first strategy, public health and prevention measure, was to make an employee understand theory on how to prevent themselves from being infected with COVID-19. To achieve that target, CPF COVID-19 committee has invited Professor Dr. Yong Puwarawan, virology specialist, to be the consultant, and also had Dr. Pon Pimon, Director General of Department of Health, and her team to ask for some advice. And the easiest way to learn about COVID-19 prevention and control was to discuss success story from experienced people. Therefore, the COVID-19 committee has made a video conference with a CP Wuhan executive who succeeded in controlling COVID-19 in Wuhan. After learnings and consulting, this was the solution of COVID-19 prevention as seen in COVID infection risk assessment model here. The first focus was on social distancing. If it was done perfectly, that means people could keep themselves away from the virus, so the risk of COVID-19 infection is quite low, even though with or without wear mask or wash hands. But if social distancing could not be done, only wear mask and wash hands could not be 100% effective to prevent COVID-19 infections, causing still risk of infection. The highest risk was when nothing was done that have occurred already somewhere in our world. Here is the example of COVID-19 prevention measure that 207 factories and warehouse has intensely done, including screening external external personnel, temperature checks, social distancing, wash your hands regularly, use their own personal equipment, and cleanings and disinfection. For all animal farms, the outsider was not allowed. Social distancing, wear masks, and personal hygiene were basic needs for all employees. And for retail business, we have 299 brands of CP face mask on over Thailand. In each store, the basic need to prevent COVID was the temperature check for both employee and consumer, wear masks all the time, provide alcohol gels, and social distancing. Transportation was totally changed to what we call the new normal transportation, including drivers should be monitored body temperatures in the mornings every day, and during transportation, they should wear safety glass, face masks, gloves, and carry alcohol gel with them. After drilling out, vehicles should be disinfected, especially in the cabin. And for employees who is home delivery, they should follow 7 steps to prevent spread of COVID-19, including wearing the standard uniform, body temperature check every morning, wear mask every time, wash your hand with alcohol gel before delivering the product, spread 1 or 2 meters, deliver money in container, not direct contact, and daily vehicle cleaning. The second strategy is communications, which had target to make our employees to know COVID-19 situation and what and how to do to protect themselves and their workplace being free from COVID-19. The first communications before Thailand has reported COVID-19 came from our CEO about the list on country regulation, and after that, COVID-19 committee sent by preventive measure to heads of all business unit and provide the information on online communication such as CP First Page, CPF Connect, Line application for the factory life process plans. With had foreign worker, the documents was translated to a foreign language and made it into a video. It's easy for them to understand. One good thing of CPF was that there were lots of veterinarians who has experience in disease prevention and control in animal disease. So it was easy for them to apply COVID prevention and control to educate employees to fight with COVID-19. The third strategy was employee care, which had target to make employees feel safe and happy to go to work. Or the first thing to do was work from home policy, especially for a susceptible group such as the elderly, pregnant women, employees which have other diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, for example. And CPF also provide on-day mental health hotline for some employees who has stress about COVID-19. For employees under self-quarantine, CPF provides set of foods from CP face mask during 14 days of detention, and also provide the coupon to assist employees affected by COVID-19 value 3,000 baht. The fourth strategy was procurement, which has targeted to have enough equipment to protect COVID-19 and enough material to run business. After the announcement of COVID-19 outbreaks, there was always followed by the shortage of equipment to fight with COVID-19, such as masks, rope, and alcohol. For that reason, our procurement team decided and planned to buy 3 times more from normal situation for workers as rather post-mask was distributed first because of high risk. Raw material for all productions also the same, was brought enough for more than 2 or 3 months use. The last strategy was to coordinate with government sector, which has targeted to have some support from them to run the business, especially during the COVID situations. This is a short story of COVID-19. The situation started in February to increase surveillance and to announce COVID-19 is a serious contagious disease. By 26th of March, the COVID-19 infections disease Epidemic Management Center announced emergency decree controlling for COVID, and at 3 of April, curfews throughout the country was announced as expected. And CPF executive meet key persons in government agency, as seen here, to discuss and ask for advice and assistance so that CPF could continue to run the business. So during curfew, CPF could continue to run business without any problems. And we just arranged documents relating via the loose control case, and some documents we could do it by ourselves and show at the transportation checkpoint. And CPF has operated a logistic coordination center 24 hours on over Thailand. It is a preparation in case of transportation problem. As I mentioned before, what is the effects of COVID-19 on CPF? And this is the last slide showing the answer. CPF stock price was at the lowest point on March 17 during the period that Bangkok announced the lockdown policy. And after that, the price was going up until now. If CPF can keep our employee not being infected by COVID-19 and can keep the business continuously going, that's it, the opportunity. So we try to do both at the same time during it and post-COVID-19. And this is all of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
For sharing information on how CPF deal with the COVID-19 and also how it ensure or secure the whole operation of the company. Now we come into the end of the presentation session, and now we would come into the discussion session on the potential collaboration on agriculture and agro-based industry post-COVID-19. We have 20 minutes for the discussion, so I do hope that all comment or input stick to our topic on identifying potential collaboration on agriculture and agro-based industry post-COVID-19. For the first round, I would like to invite 3 speakers to give some comment, recommendation, or some input. Please raise your hand before you speak.
Yes.
Prof. Tahlim and another 2 comment.
Mr. Rajni Ramlan.
Mr. Rajni Ramlan
from Malaysia.
From Malaysia. Okay, so I would start by inviting Professor Tahlim to give your comment. Please, Pak.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just briefly to add some point on the potential area of cooperation. I think in addition to the area of trade and other point that already delivered by other speakers, I just would like to add some point. First, of course, knowledge sharing on this various aspect of the COVID-19, both technical and also the policy measures. So I think these forums very much serves of this point. It is very important for all the three member countries. And the second one is a lot of new area related to this COVID-19 that require capacity buildings on again on the technical and also on the analysis of the impact and the policy response. So I think I would like to propose the area of the capacity building program involved in the three countries. And the third point is related to the promoting more investments, at least within these three countries. Of course, it's need to expand to some other regions as well. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
The last point, Pak, since the connection is not good for the last point.
The investments promotions.
Investment promotion. Thank you, Prof. Tahlim. And now I would like to invite
Mr. Rajni Ramlan.
Mr. Rajni Ramlan from Malaysia, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Pak Andri, learned speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I'm representing JBC Malaysia. We have some point to share and raise in this forum. You can hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So to us, COVID-19 is a real chemistry test to the cooperation and the philosophy of IMT-GT. But actually, we have yet to be tested on a more severe crisis, as COVID-19 is a health-based crisis. Some government functions still, on the ground, working, and we have not yet been tested on other major crises where some machinery probably will be totally disrupted. Hopefully, it won't happen here in our region. But of course, the level of preparedness must be created beginning now, learning from the experience during this pandemic. So I believe that from the perspective of member countries, all measures and mitigation has been presented by our learned speakers today are very much domestic and localized in nature. And the cross-border issues and needs have been given minimum attention. Of course, I believe that it is inevitable that member states has to focus on the domestic issues, all and above of other issues. However, learning from the experience, I strongly believe that we have to look beyond the recovery period. For one reason, we have to be prepared on the futures, and of course we have to enhance our preparedness in addressing crisis, disaster, or maybe disruption of the futures. So I would like to pose a few comments on three significant issues that require serious attention in our efforts to define a more meaningful and strategic cooperation among the member countries, particularly in relation to crisis, disasters, and major disruption in future. So the 3 points that I would like to share, to raise is one, on the disruption and cross-border supply chains. And secondly is on the food security of IMT-GT region. And the third one is the strategic mitigation for mutual benefit and sustainability. So from the shared views and presentation by our learned presenters today, supply chain disruption has affected higher value item first, since this item tend to be involve more tiers of suppliers and human interaction, then followed by staple food supplies. Due to border closure, for example, supply of labor and manpower across the border has affected severely some sectors. For example, in the northern region of Malaysia, especially in Kedah and Perlis, in the farming fish and also fishery, the fishery sector itself has been affected seriously, even until today when the border is still closed. The fishery industry now is running at 30% capacity due to almost 1,200 boat crews from the southern Thailand is unable to cross border due to border lockdown. So at the same time, we have to look food security in a multi-dimensional in nature, because it involves factors such as food availability, in terms of supplies, food accessibility, affordability, and the utilization. So to us, COVID-19 crisis has already been affecting food security and food supply chain directly through impact on food supplies and demand, and indirectly through changing consumer behavior and affecting the capacity to produce and distribute the food. Therefore, a supporting point raised by Pak Andri Chandra in his opening remark just now, I would like to raise 3 points quite pertinent to be seriously look into it and considered. One, on the issue of shared market. Second is on the efficient logistic. And the third one is on efficient trade facilitation. So moving forward, we would like to propose priority should be given on 3 points. One, the jumpstart to badly affected sector segment. Second is the intermediate measures to rectify the affected sectors. And the third one is the long-term measures for a resilient and sustainable agriculture and food industries. So as a regional cooperation, I believe that there should be a need for IMT-GT to seriously initiate a strategic working plan to address the point as mentioned above, constructively and operationally. So what JBC Malaysia has in mind? So we would like to propose to CIMT and to our colleague from other JBC member countries. So there's a need to establish a convergent working group on agriculture, trade, and logistics, because these three areas are interrelated, especially during the crisis. And of course, the convergent working group should start formulating few strategic initiatives and identify the enablers to spearhead the initiatives. Among others, the focus group should focus on the 6 areas I would like to suggest. One, to formulate an IMT-GT food security policy and protocol. Second, to set up an IMT-GT food security hub or buffer. The third one, setting up of an IMT-GT logistic initiative in relation to efficient food supply distribution intra-IMT-GT region, leveraging on rail, road, and ports connectivity within the region. And the fourth one is addressing the new normal in B2B and B2C marketplace from 10,000 feet perspective. It means we have to look and how to leverage the blooming of digital market platform for IMT-GT regional market. And I do agree with the point raised by Pak Tahrim just now on the need of capacity building in the agriculture and food industry sectors. And finally, Mr. Chairman, I believe that IMT-GT should draft a sustainable human capital policy to address issues in cross-border manpower in relation to agriculture and agriculture-based activities. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. There's a view from JBC, and I would like to wait for a response from other JBC members. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Pak Rajni Ramlan. And now I would like to invite Pak Firdaus to give some comment, Pak, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is from CMT perspective. First of all, thank you so much for the presentation, comprehensive presentation from our speakers. Particularly, I would like to comment what the previous speakers emphasized on the need to strengthen the capacity building program in the sub-region. As also mentioned by our colleague just now from Indonesia, as seconded by our colleague from GBC Malaysia as well, Pak Rajni Ramlan. So, since the importance of the capacity building to assist of our member countries in the sub-region, so I would like also to seek, is there any possibilities for us, for CMT office, to collaborate with CPF, Damnon in Thailand, how we can collaborate together on the sectors of agriculture, in the sector of agriculture and agro-based industry. As we believe, you are a big companies, not only in the sub-region, but in the world. And now, what is our joint program in the sub-region? So, as CMT office here, we are looking forward to collaborating with you, how we can assist our people in the sub-region. So we are more than ready to collaborate. That is also a good for our future, for our people post-COVID-19. So we are looking forward for that one, Mr. Danun. So whatever, so our team in CMT is ready to talk to you later on, what is the best for us to collaborate together. That is number one. And number two, I would like also to comment on the our colleague from Rubber Association from Thailand. Indeed, for our information, in IMT-GT, we have one of the project rubber cities. So we have established, we have appointed cities in each of the country to be rubber cities. One in Songkhla rubber cities and Kedah rubber cities, and also two cities, in Sumatra, Semangkir rubber cities and Tanjung Api-Api rubber cities. So for our information, so now we have already established the PIT team, a project implementation team already established. Now how we come for the implementation program. So through the rubber Thai associations, we are also looking forward to collaborating with you, together, of course, with Malaysia and also with Indonesian association as well, how we come up with the concrete project in the future, especially post-COVID-19. As you mentioned as well, in your presentation, productions in during the COVID-19 also increase, especially for the demand for the glove. However, the problem that you are facing at the moment in terms of the rubber cooperation in the sub-region is the price, the low price of the rubber itself. You know, it affected already our small holders plantation in the sub-region. So I do agree with you how we can collaborate together to increase the price of the rubber in the sub-region, and also to assist our smallholders in the sub-region as well. So we are looking forward for this one, and also our response to our colleague in Malaysia and also in Indonesia as well. We are ready and looking forward for that collaboration. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Pak Firdaus. We still have 3 minutes before we wrap up our discussion. Then I would like to invite 1 or 2 other speaker, please.
Tyraber, maybe if chair, if it seemed to me that Tyraber also want to take the floor, and also if there is also this we give the opportunity to CPF if any reply or comment. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. All right, then I will give the floor to Tyraber first, and then afterward go to the CPF, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since I have mentioned that the rubber glove is a rising star industry in our region due to the COVID, the demand have been increased from last year. The production and the demand of glove is 250 billion pieces in last year. This year increased to 350 billion pieces, and next year we increase to 500 billion pieces. All the order already fully committed, which means the glove producer cannot keep up with the increase of the demand. We are seeing the big in expansion of the glove production within these 3 years. The demand will be increased to double, and the production will increase around 30%. You can see the top 5, the glove producer of the world. One is from 4 of them is from Malaysia, and one is from Thailand. And we seeing the expansion of the glove production in Vietnam and in China as well. However, we should promote the investment of glove in our own region by Malaysia and Thai producer. We also include Indonesia local producer in our region, which will increase the latex, national rubber latex consumption, which will can help increase the rubber price in future. For the rubber price, just now, Mr. Chairman have been mentioned for the forward. We can foresee in future that agriculture will expand on the platform on sustainability, which is under Food and Agriculture Organization under United Nations. They are doing the assessment on the food and agriculture on sustainability. Actually, the topic of sustainability is we cannot increase the palm oil and rubber plantation by deforestation. We have to keep the forest as it is, and we have to reduce our rubber and palm oil plantation and convert to other food, agriculture based for others like durian or herbs or rice or whatever need by the world. So what I foresee, the production of palm oil and rubber will be maintained and cannot increase. The plantation area also will not increase, but the price in the future will be better due to the production of these 2 crops is dropping, and the good demand from latex, natural rubber latex for the glove industry. I also encourage the Indonesia to promote the investment of glove in the IMT-GT area for Indonesia, and Vietnam and China also they also increase. So this is a good opportunity for our 3 countries to help our economy within these 2-3 years. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Supadet. And then I would like to give the floor to CPF, please. Dr. Damnun.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having the CPF in this group. Thank you for us to join that group. As you mentioned before, the cooperation is very bad, but I'm not the one who make a final decision right now. And it is possible if you like the email and about the objective of collaboration and the target that you need from CPF. So I can keep the message and talking with our big board for our work cooperation. That's it.
Come to the end of this session. Before I hand over the floor to the Secretariat for the summary and wrap up of this point of discussion, allow me to highlight several points that we have that has been raised during the discussion session. One is of course proposal for cooperation on the knowledge sharing, capacity building, and then also what has been highlighted by Pak Rajini Ramlan, how to broaden the national strategy to cover the sub-regional coverage in terms of cross-border food supply chain and then food security, and also strengthening cooperation on the mitigation or preparedness for the future disaster, and also some proposal on how whether we could establish a kind of working group to further discuss all the points that has been raised from this discussion. I think by this point, then I would like to conclude this session, and thank you very much for all the resource person and presenter. And then I would like to give back the floor to the Secretariat. Please, Pak Firdaus.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ade, the chairman of the working group Agriculture and Agrobased Industry. And also you have sum up, make conclusion of our discussion today. And also thank you so much for the participation of our speakers and all participants in this video conference. As mentioned earlier, so our the 6th series of video conference on managing the impact of COVID-19 on IMT-GT sectoral cooperation will be closed by Directors, Regional Division, Economic Planning Unit, Malaysia, on behalf of the Director General of Economic Planning Unit. So I hope that Dato Ahmad Zamri bin Khairuddin already connected with us, but let me check first. Okay, we need to make sure first whether the Dato already.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, thank you so much, Dato. Thank you so much, Dato. So, okay. Dato, with your permission, allow me to report to you a little bit of our conference, what we have been doing so far. So, Dato, first of all, may I report to you that the video conferences on the managing impact of COVID-19 on sectoral cooperation in IMT-GT, so has been done 6 times with the last conference of today. So the first one is on tourism. We did it in the 24th of June. And then followed by trade in investment video conferences in July, the 1st of July, and then human resources development cooperation on the 8th of July, and then halal product and services cooperation 15th of July, and transport and city connectivity 22nd of July, and agriculture and agro-based industry today. So Honorable Dato So we have completed the 6th series of our video conferences. And, I can also report to you that from our discussion on the 6th series, so there are some important points that we already highlighted. Among of there, each of the IMT country and member countries, IMT-GT, has implemented different policies and strategies to reduce the impact of COVID-19 for both in terms of the fiscal and monetary policy as well, to reduce the impact of COVID-19 to our economy. There is the need also for IMT-GT member countries to strengthen collaboration through sharing experiences and practices. So that is the common recommendation from what we have discussed so far. So in terms of the tourism, there is also the recommendation to have travel bubble in the sub-region, subject to, of course, the progress of the COVID-19 in the sub-region. So in terms of the trade collaboration, one of our speakers also proposed, number one is the need for us to manage the finance tightly by being transparent to suppliers and business partners, as well as to reduce their unnecessary expenditures and to maintain only essential items. So that is also one recommendation during the trade collaboration. And second, to prepare the adapting with new normal, where SMEs need to nurture the necessary skill to grow. And lastly, to have a stronger connection and build network among SMEs. And at this discussion on trade, there is also a recommendation, the need for the sub-region to strengthen or to have collaboration on digital platform. So in this regard, Chair, Honorable, our sub-working group already established the e-commerce platform. So hopefully in the near future, so IMT-GT will have soon the e-commerce platform. So on the HRD, Human Resources Development, we notice as well the impact of COVID-19 is huge to unemployment in the 3 countries. What we have to do, the recommendation is how to strengthen the capacity building, upskill and reskill of our employment. And then for the halal cooperation, we notice as well there is a demand decrease during the COVID-19. However, there is also opportunity to increase trade services during through the digital trading. That is also highlighted during the discussion at the halal product and services. And then for the transport, we noticed that all of the transport activities impacted severely in the 3 countries, in Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. But one thing that the future possible cooperation is to have the green region travel bubble can be also considered for the post-COVID-19. So that is the very brief summary, Honorable Dato'. We will share with all of our member countries later on. We will send in written report and minutes as well. So, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, Dato', can I invite you to deliver your remarks and at the same time to close the 6th series of video conferences on managing impact of COVID-19 on IMT-GT sectoral cooperation. Dato', without further ado, we would like to hand over the floor to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Firdaus Dahlan, Director of CMT. Good morning to everybody. Okay, Dr. Adi Chandra Jaya. Hello. Director of the Center of International Cooperation, Ministry of Agriculture, Indonesia. Mr. Muhammad Faisal Harun, Undersecretary of the International Division, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industries, Malaysia. Mrs. Benjawan Siribody, expert on International Economic Policy, Office of Agriculture Economics, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative, Thailand. Mr. Sakti Hutabarat, Department of Agribusiness, Faculty of Agriculture, Riau University. Mr. Supadek Onsakul, Deputy Secretary General of the Thai Rubber Association. And lastly, Mr. Damneon Chatura Witawang. Did I say correctly? Senior Vice President of the Swine Veterinary Service, CPF Thailand. And last but not least, Mr. Robin Lim, Managing Director of Feed Direct Malaysia. Are you still there, Mr. Robin? Okay.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to extend the warm regards from Honorable Datuk Saiful Anwar bin Lebay Hussein, the Director General of Economic Planning Unit of the Prime Minister's Department of Malaysia. Unfortunately, Datuk Saiful is unable to join us this morning, or this afternoon rather, due to his prior commitment. Distinguished delegate, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the IMT-GT video conference series, Managing the Impact of COVID-19. I was made to understand that there were more than 500 participants that attended this video conference series that was started since 26th of June until today. The video conference series covers 6 sectors of cooperation, namely tourism, halal products and services, transport connectivity, trade and investment, human resource development, and today we had the agriculture and agro-based industries. Before I move forward, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the working groups, UNINET, Joint Business Council, and also the CIMT under Mr. Firdaus Dahlan for your contribution and participation in ensuring the successful conduct of this series. I realize that CIMT have taken notes on the key points that have been raised throughout this video conference, and this may be used to develop as upcoming projects and activities that will be crucial in combating the impact of COVID-19 in this sub-region. For example, Mr. Firdaus has mentioned about the implementation of travel bubble in the sub-region, as discussed in the tourism sector, as well as transport connectivity session, which will be used as a good measure to overcome the impact of COVID-19. In ensuring the safety and security of our people, activities such as safety and health-related courses to increase the awareness and preparedness of the business community should also be conducted. This may help the business community in facing the pandemic crisis to restart and re-strategize their business by building confidence, by building their customers' confidence. I believe the working groups should also equip our labor force with necessary skills in line with the demand of the private sector. Here, I would like to call for close collaboration and engagement with the private sector to assist the working group to identify the required skills. In this regard, I would like to emphasize on the importance to integrate and adopt technology in the business operations. Before the pandemic crisis, many of us perhaps was not very much depends on technology as the solution for our daily life. But due to this restricted movement, people are moving into online businesses Some have became urban farmer, and people are no longer depending on public transport, and several factories have shifted to use automated machines instead of human labor. Even today, what we are experiencing, having the video conferencing online, is not a normal practice several months ago. COVID-19 has forced us to do things that we are not normally previously to become part of our current daily, or like we are known as the new normal. We should not be limiting this pandemic situation as distraction to our life, but rather we should take this opportunity to lead further. In this regard, I hope the completion of the IMT e-commerce platform project would open opportunities for the people in the sub-region to market and sell their products, not only limited within our countries, but beyond our countries. This could only be realized with the participation from all the working groups to ensure seamless trade in the sub-region. The advancement of technology may close the gap of the community as you are connected to each other, provided that we have good infrastructure. Finally, I would like to task CIMT, together with the working groups, to list out all the key points raised in the video conference series to be discussed and deliberated further during the working groups meeting that will start, I believe, next month until September. I would like to see concrete projects to be developed and implemented in the sub-region as our response to reduce the impact of COVID-19. I truly believe that with strong collaboration and good cooperation from all of us, we can overcome and recover from this crisis. We are all in this together. Thank you very much.